too, because it's a pretty important lecture and there's a lot of people missing, so I want to be able to put this on my YouTube channel. Got a couple subscribers, right? All right, so cell division. You guys have your notes out. They say mitosis on the top. This unit 5 is all about cell division, and there's two types of cell division. There's mitosis and meiosis. All right, we're going to give you something that's going to help you remember the differences between mitosis and meiosis. And if you can remember that part, you're about halfway there with what you need to know for this unit. The I, write this down. The I in mitosis stands for identical. When cells go through mitosis, they're going to be making identical cells. So you get a cut, a skin cell goes through mitosis. Hopefully it's making identical skin cells. Where's your stuff? Something to write down with. You have something to write with? Okay. All right, when a cell goes through meiosis, the E in meiosis stands for sex. So mitosis is making identical cells. When it goes through cell division, meiosis is making only sex cells when it goes through cell division. Those are two main ideas for this unit. Okay, there's some cells that are going to divide constantly. Cells in your embryo, skin cells, and in the lining of your stomach. Those cells are going to always be going through the cell cycle. They're very busy cells. You know how it's like dry skin time of year, your skin cells are flaking off very quickly. That's your skin's way of going through the cell cycle. Your old skin is flaking off, your new skin is growing. Okay? If you're an embryo, you're growing very quickly. So you're constantly going through the cell cycle. And inside your stomach, inside your intestinal lining, you've got all that acid in there, it's digesting your food. So that type of cell is very quickly going through the cell cycle. Can you see me pretty much?
I think it's
That's what I just said for you.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We should make it. I'm not going to talk for that long. All right. If you are a brain cell, a spinal cord cell, or a cardiac muscle cell, you almost never go through the cell cycle. So think for a second about what happens to you when you have damage to these parts of your body. Sky, if something happens and you have a traumatic brain injury, do you kind of like bounce back from that next week?
No.
How long do you have that?
A while. Maybe
Maybe forever. Okay, that's why concussions are so harmful. Sometimes your brain does not repair from that damage. Spinal cord cells, if your spinal cord becomes damaged, what could happen then? You could become paralyzed. All right, and the same thing for your heart. If you have a heart attack, that's going to leave damage on your heart forever. They'll be able to do like an EKG and see that you had a heart attack at some point. It'll leave scarring on your heart forever. So these types of cells don't go through the cell cycle. They're not creating new identical daughter cells to replace and repair damaged ones. That's why damage to these parts of your body is permanent, for the most part. All right, so we've got a lot of like compare and contrast happening in this unit. We're talking about the differences between mitosis and meiosis. We're going to be adding a couple vocabulary terms to that stuff. So the first one is somatic cell. The somatic cell is a body cell whose genes will not be passed on to future generations. Your somatic cells are the ones that go through mitosis. So identical. All of your regular body cells are somatic and they're going through mitosis. All of your regular body cells whose genes are not passed on to future generations. So if you cut your nose, are your kids going to be born with like a boo-boo on their face? No. That's a regular somatic cell that's not going to be passed on to future generations. All right? If you practice really hard at something and you get like, really strong legs from running all the time. Are your kids going to be born with really strong legs? No. That's a somatic cell that's not going to be passed on to future generations. These are the cells we're talking about when we're talking about mitosis. Going through the cell cycle and producing identical body cells. What are the only two cells that don't go through mitosis, that have information that is passed on to future generations? Kind of says it. Yeah, sperm if you're a boy, eggs if you're a girl. Now, of course, in biology, everything has to have like multiple names for the same thing. So you can call your eggs and sperm sex cells. You can call your eggs and sperm germ cells. You can call them eggs. You can call them sperm. You can call them gametes. They're all the same thing. They are all not somatic cells. So these are going to be going through, write this down, meiosis. Those are going to be going through meiosis. And remember, the E in meiosis is for the sex parts. Okay? So compare and contrast. Next layer of information to add to this is the difference between a diploid cell and a haploid cell. Writing this down, if you're a diploid cell, you're going through mitosis. We abbreviate diploid with 2N. A diploid cell is a cell with 2 chromosome sets in each of its cells, or it's a somatic body cell. How many, let's see if you remember anything from like 7th, 8th life science. Do you know how many cells are in a human diploid cell? Or how many chromosomes, how many chromosomes are in a human diploid cell?
Like somewhere around 42.
You said somewhere around 42? You're close.
46.
How many?
46.
46. Yeah. All right. So good job, guys. There's 46 chromosomes in a human diploid cell. So your skin, hair, nails, liver, stomach, eyeball, bones, everything except eggs or sperm. Okay? What if you're a haploid cell? How many chromosomes would be in a sperm cell or an egg cell? 23. Good job. You guys are smart. All right. So ways to remember this. This is good stuff here. This is your tax dollars hard at work. The way I remember haploid, I think of the word half. Okay? The way I remember diploid, I think of the D for double. Okay? Haploid, half, 23. Diploid, double, 46. Now, is it really like half and double? No, but it's 2N and N, and it helps to remember all of those things. All right? All right, so like we coming back full circle, we started with this. Mitosis is the division of somatic cells. It's going to make identical daughter cells. Meiosis is the creation of new sex cells. These are the only cells that contain genetic information that could possibly get passed on to your offspring. All right, your job now. You're going to get with your notes, you're going to get a partner, and you're going to go over to the dry erase boards over here, and you're going to just digest this information real quick. Differences between mitosis and meiosis, differences between somatic cells and sex cells, differences between haploid and diploid. All right?